Hey guys, how's it going? Engi here, and it's been a minute, about 4 months to be exact. I know I've been gone for a while, but I can assure you I've been using that time very wisely.
Dump height. Let's go, Maria. Let's go, Maria, again with the kick. Oh, what the fuck?
So as you know, E3 just wrapped up, and I gotta say, I walked away kinda hyped. I don't know if it's because my expectations have dropped so low or if my dwindling love for gaming has finally returned, but I haven't walked away from an E3 with this much skeptical optimism in a while. And because I'm so excited, I thought I'd come here and just share my E3 thoughts with you. So, let's begin. This fucking conference. So listen, I know what I just said about walking away feeling optimistic, okay? I'm the one who said it. But all those bubbly feelings of optimism did not come from Bethesda's E3 conference. Bethesda as of late has been a case study on how not to run a company. Between the disaster that was Fallout 76 and the multiple PR scandals this company keeps finding themselves in, you could say my trust with the once praised developer has somewhat taken an arrow to the knee. Out of the hour-and-a-half slog that was Bethesda's E3 conference, only 3 games really stood out to me. The first being Ghostwire Tokyo, an action-adventure game with horror elements created by Mr. Survival Horror himself. Now this was just a reveal trailer, so we have literally no information on it, but slap Shinji Mikami's name on mostly any game and it'll have my interest piqued. The second game is Deathloop, a game developed by Arcane Leon. Again, this is just a reveal trailer and I literally have nothing to go on, but after watching the trailer a few times, my mind is racing with the possibilities and I really cannot wait to see more. And finally, my last pick for Bethesda's E3 was none other than Doom Eternal. Eternal seems to be keeping in line with its predecessor while ramping up the mobility and high-octane aggression that made Doom 2016 such a success. The executions still look as gruesome as ever and Mick Gordon is still putting in work on that soundtrack. There's also the new battle mode, and I'm not sure if that's the invasion mode that they talked about a while ago, but I'm still hyped for it regardless. I was really blown away by Doom 2016, and I can't wait to get my hooks into Doom Eternal when it comes out on November 22nd. As for the rest of the conference,
fuck yeah, we put a battle royale in Fallout 76. That's right.
So I've always had a strange relationship with Ubisoft. On one hand, I always feel like new and interesting ideas are always brought to life by the company. They aren't afraid to try something new, and because of that, they publish some of my favorite games. On the other hand, they thought this was a finished product. Overall, I gotta say, I was pretty disappointed with Ubisoft showing this year. With the exception of Watch Dogs Legions and Roller Champions, I honestly couldn't give a fuck about anything else that was shown. Roller Champions looks like a fun cross between Roller Derby and that game they played in El Dorado, and I'm all for it. The aesthetics are colorful and vibrant, and the gameplay is simple to grasp. I imagine as this game matures, the competitive scene around it will definitely evolve, and I see myself losing hours to this game whenever it releases. Now, Watch Dogs Legion. Wow, there's a lot to say about this one. For a while, I always saw Watch Dogs as a project without focus. Yes, there was the hacking elements of the game, but that was never enough to really draw me away from similar open world style games that fill the same niche. With Legion, however, I feel like Watch Dogs has finally found its stride. The gameplay trailer that we saw was, in my humble opinion, insane. I know we're not supposed to get hyped for the potential of an unfinished product, but Watch Dogs Legion was easily the most ambitious game that I saw from Ubisoft Showcase. The gunplay looks fluid, the animations were natural and dynamic, the hacking looks seamless, and the potential infinite variations of characters is simultaneously the most insane and potentially damning part of Watch Dogs Legion. The concept of being able to recruit anyone in the sprawling open world is an enticing one, and the addition of permadeath to each character really adds weight to all your decisions. While I love the idea of being able to recruit any NPC into my makeshift revolution, I worry that this idea may be too ambitious and difficult to properly achieve. Not only are they boasting that each character will have different and unique backstories and origin stories, they're also claiming that every single individual NPC will be fully simulated with consistent schedules and that they will have relationships with other NPCs regardless of your involvement, and that each one of them will have their own unique personality, and since they're all voiced, I'm assuming they're all gonna have their own original voices so the game doesn't sound like the same 10 people. Now, I've never personally developed a game, but that entire situation just sounds like a fucking nightmare. In my eyes, the success of this game will hinge on how well they're able to convey a genuine sense of individuality and personality to each one of these NPCs. The moment a player starts to notice the similarities in all the NPCs is the moment the whole entire concept your game hinges on fails, and I don't know how they're going to keep cutscenes consistently believable across a narrative with a rotating cast of characters that all have individual personalities and thus would act differently in each said scenario. Still, I have my fingers crossed. Despite everything I've been led to believe up until this point, I hope Ubisoft proves me wrong and delivers one of the most immersive and seamless open worlds to date.
Yeah, any Blizzard fans in the house? All right.
Right here, right now. Who person like a tango rider? Right here, right now.
I was honestly blown away by Microsoft's E3 conference this year. From big AAA projects to smaller indie titles, I really do feel like Microsoft is trying their best to bring a wide variety of games to life for each and every type of player. That's not to say this E3 was perfect, of course. For one, we still have no Halo Infinite gameplay, which is arguably what everyone was most hyped for, and that Gears 5 spot was honestly extremely disappointing. But I'm not here to harp on the small negatives. The first game we got to see more of was Outer World, aka Colorful Fallout. Now, I've personally never really been a fan of the Fallout universe, it's just never been my fancy, but Outer World has honestly piqued my interest. The game looks beautiful, and the setting's extremely distinct and detailed. We got to find out a little bit more about the world we're going to inhabit, and from the small gameplay snippets we were shown, there seems to be a wide variety of weapons and enemies. There was also this slow motion mechanic displayed twice throughout the trailer. It makes me wonder if it's a replacement for the VAT system of old Fallout games, or if your character has special combat abilities similar to Borderlands. I'll admit, I don't have much personal stake in this one, but if the legacy of Obsidian Entertainment is any indicator of the quality of this game, I have no doubt that it'll be a fun ride. Now, when I first heard of this game, I was somewhat in disbelief. The idea of a sprawling open world set in a cyberpunk future with almost infinite player choice and customization seemed a bit far-fetched. An idea that sounds great on paper but ends up being horribly executed in practice, and because of that, I brushed Cyberpunk aside as just another open world game with an admittedly interesting aesthetic. But boy, was I wrong. Cyberpunk 2077 has been consistently blowing past my expectations with each new reveal. The world is jam-packed with so many moving parts, and because of this, it actually feels alive, like a true sprawling megacity with people from so many different walks of life. There's so much to speculate and talk about, like the Metroid-style retina scanner, or the bullet ricochet feature, or the actual believability to character movements during dialogue, which in any other case would just be some whack automated animation. CD Projekt Red took me from not giving a damn to being a true believer, and I cannot wait to spend hours getting lost in Night City. The Legend of Wright. In an industry obsessed with realism, it's always nice to see a developer take a chance and try something wholly unique. The Legend of Wright seems to be a game that oozes with charm and personality. The whole environment is interactable, and the pencil-drawn animations are incredible, yet still simple in design to mimic the aesthetic of a child's imagination. The game has such an imaginative concept, and honestly looking at the game fills me with a sense of childlike wonder that not many games do. The Legend of Wright truly has me captivated, and I cannot wait to see how this game develops. I'm also excited for Way to the Woods, a game developed by Anthony Tan. Taking inspirations from films like Spirited Away and games like The Last of Us, Way to the Woods looks to be a story about the connection between a deer and her fawn as they journey across the world and make their way to the woods. The art style is breathtaking, and the animations are extremely characterized. I actually got a chance to talk with the boy Anthony Tan, the developer of this game, and from our short conversation I can only say that my hype for the title has grown an immense amount. I have a soft spot for passion projects, and A Way to the Woods is a prime example of just that. If you want to stay up to date on this game, go give Ant a follow on Twitter. He's a really nice guy, and he deserves all the support. Holy shit! They did it. They fucking did it. Banjo in Smash, baby. For as ass backwards as Nintendo can be at times, they've truly mastered the art of hype. Banjo in Smash is outright my favorite part of E3, I'll say it right now. The bear and the bird were beautifully brought to the current generation. The attack animations were phenomenally translated, and the duo is still as expressive and charming as ever. It's a childhood dream fully realized, but what has me even more excited is the possibility of a new Banjo game. If Smash could get Fire Emblem a Western fanbase prior to having any mainline games in the country, I'm sure Smash could give Banjo a much needed second win. Do you like mystery? Do you like Lovecraftian horror? Because The Sinking City is the game for you. Set in the fictional town of Oakmount, Massachusetts during the 1920s, The Sinking City follows Detective Charles W. Reed as he uncovers the secrets behind the terrifying visions that have drawn many to the strange town. The Lovecraftian aesthetic of The Sinking City is what originally drew me into the title, but what kept me was the extraordinary gameplay premise. The Sinking City at its core is an investigative, non-linear, open-world mystery where the player must examine the world and interact with the many interesting inhabitants that live in it. Now this is already a really interesting concept, but what makes The Sinking City stand out is the fact that everything must be done of the player's own volition. There are no objective markers or hints as to what to do next. Everything is left to the player, and how well they piece together the truth is completely up to them. It's a completely open-ended experience with true player freedom and multiple different outcomes. It's a concept that they're either going to nail or fail, but you can guarantee that I'm going to be checking this game out when it releases. Do you see how fucking cute this shit is? Now, if I were to try to simplify Astral Chain, I would say it's what happens when you cross Digimon and Watch Dogs with Sleeping Dogs and Devil May Cry, and if that sounds like a lot, it's because it is. Developed by Platinum Games and spearheaded by Takahisa Taora, Astral Chain looks to be Platinum Games' most ambitious project yet. The combat looks overwhelming yet addicting. There are multiple types of legions, each with their own ability and skill tree, and mixing and matching the seemingly infinite attack combos provides insane depth to both casual and hardcore players. The graphics are beautifully stylized and perfectly lend to the over-the-top action, and the investigation mechanic and side quests seem to add a great reprieve for the no doubt intense action. Platinum Games is a studio that has worked hard to gain my trust and has proven time and time again that they're able to do what they set out to achieve. While only time will tell how successful this game really is, I have no doubt that Platinum will knock it out of the park. My Friend Pedro is a slick 2D side-scroller shooter that's about killing in the flashiest manner possible while a floating banana talks to you. The movement in this game is straight butter, the animations flow seamlessly, and your character effortlessly rolls, flips, and spins across the screen while helpless goons await their inevitable demise. The art style is breathtaking, and the simple game design deceptively gives a plethora of ways to approach a situation. This is one of those games that truly speaks for itself, and for your sake, I hope you check it out. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. My most anticipated game from E3 2019 is Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games! Oh yeah! They got Yoshi on a skateboard.